What a year Honda had thus far. Marc Marquez won MotoGP again. Honda launched many good bikes, from small displacements to the big kahunas. We're talking from the RS150R, the Honda PCX 150, there's a new click out there, to the 12 million peso Honda RC213V. Sales has been good, and what I'm digging about Honda, they never forgot the roots. The 60s and the 70s, an era where Honda worked the most to establish themselves in the world of motorcycles. They came out of war, there are hippies everywhere, and Harley was king in the West. In comes Honda. They went the friendly approach to market their motorcycles with a slogan, "You meet the nicest people on a Honda." That era stamped a look in motorcycles that is still with us today.
You meet the nicest people on a Honda.
The Honda CB1100 EX. One can notice that it is fathered by the distinguished CB1000F from 1983. Imagine that made it to modern day tech standards in this class. It's air-cooled with a double overhead cam engine. It's very smooth, delivering torque in what one can perceive is a fair and spread out manner across the rev range. Take out notions of a high revving motor screaming with output. This bike is not about that. It will pull, yes, but not that hard. The bike is about refinement. It's about being smooth in a very comfy way. Just give it some juice and enjoy the ride. The bike is hefty. It's 562 pounds. Literally, it's a big bike. I find it to be more of a cruiser with a bit of sporting genes in it. Just a little, mind you. It's definitely not a beginner bike. But even more experienced riders will acknowledge that it's not cumbersome to handle.
Magandang umaga po. Yan, delikado. This is a very refined tank. I mean, you're talking about super comfort. It's not the most ideal bike in this kind of situation. Medyo masikip. Of course, PCX or a Click 125 or 150, even an RSD, it's just, I know I shouldn't be comparing those small bikes to this one, but the common denominator is Metro Manila, which is where we are. So it's not the most ideal bike for this. But so far, I have been able to go where these guys have been going, and you will feel the heft as you slow down, of course. Although the bike is on the heavier side of things, maneuvering in traffic, what I like about it is that its turning radius is more generous than, you know, other bikes of this displacement. Iba hanggang ganyan lang, so it can go all the way there. So that's good. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is a breeze for a little bike, but you gotta okay, sumapit ako sa bumper ng Jeep. Sorry, Honda. Okay, in terms of engine heats, so I've been at this the whole day. Traffic is bad. You know, typical Japanese. I don't feel any heat. I mean, there's slight, small, but very tolerable. It's not like it's a bad thing. So for an 1100 4-cylinder, it's really nice that you don't have to deal with something like that. Usually kasi a little bike, understood na yun, especially pag naked, diba? There's no bearing to deflect the heat. This one is okay.
When you are hitting corners with a bike this big, you can't really force or manhandle the issue. You gotta relax and know your path and understand how the bike behaves. Prepare to put your shoulder into it, a bit of elbow grease. As a general rule, no one wants recklessness out there, and the CB1100 EX will demand respect when you're on it. Again, this bike is about enjoying the ride and your surroundings, and not about making everything a blur all the time. Going a bit more adventurous on bikes with a shorter wheelbase may find you getting away with cornering at a faster pace, but not the CB1100 EX. The bike offers another kind of exhilaration.
Para sa nakaraan, kumawala at maglibot, pinayuhan mo ang nalilito. Nalilito pa rin ako, yakap lang ang katapat. Halik mo ang sapat, hindi naman tayo ang gulo, ang gulo.
Isn't that just screaming modern classic to you? Look at the tank. We're looking at it in a lower perspective, but that whole thing that goes like this, meeting a nice straight line here for the seat, that little triangle going there. Look at the proportion, look at how the engine just sits there. It's a clean, classic, awesome looking bike. Over here, twin double disc brakes at the rear. You got a lot of muscle here, man. 1100 engine. Like what I said during the city ride, it is not something I would prefer or would be my first choice to ride around in the city with our crazy traffic situation. I'd go for a Click 150 or a 125. But this one, go out of town, weekend bike, or if you're in the city and you're gonna go around not in rush hour, this bike's gonna do the job. Cannot say enough about Honda build. As they say, a Honda is a Honda. Quality of everything here, man. The chrome, even the rubber. I mean, this is not cheap. Some of the China bikes, they fall short with the switches. Under sunlight, you'll see how thin the plastic is, how the light just kind of goes through the plastic with some China bikes. But look at Honda. This is nice, solid plastic. It doesn't feel cheap at all. If there's anything ordinary in this bike, it would be the grips. I mean, I've seen better grips, but this is negligible compared to everything that you get here, right? I mean, look at that. As macho a standard bike that you can get. Elegant gauge. This is premium stuff. No compromise. This segment. Thick stems for your side view mirror. Nice and thick. Good quality. Levers. Everything here. I mean, it's so hard to fault build aesthetic wise, which is, you know, typical of Honda, and it is what made Honda famous to begin with. You know, it was their reliability and their build quality. The engine design, look at that plate over there. It's very, very modern. I just love the idea on how they just combined modern technology, a bit of the modern look, into a nice classic package. And we know that there's a very strong market for this in the sense that there's just some people who will just stick to classic no matter what, and that's a pretty good market too. And it's always to honor the heritage of where you came from. New bikes, future looking bikes are nice, but you know, this is it. You know what I mean? Beautiful. And what I want you guys to check out now is the horn. Right? Siga, no? Now, that's a horn. It's not like your meep meep, but it's not gonna sound like a truck. By the way, don't do that. Don't put a truck horn in your motorcycle. You're just making other people around you think you're not on a motorcycle. In fact, the whole idea is to make people think you're on a motorcycle so that they're gonna be wary of you. So this is, while it's still nice and macho sounding, meep meep, it still says, hey, I'm a motorcycle. Don't get into my lane. As opposed to, oh, that's a truck, it's okay. It's that kind of thought. Ah, the suspension. One of my favorite features on the bike. Showa is just great. Fully adjustable no matter how much you weigh in relation to an already heavy bike. So, Honda and Showa worked on this together, hand in hand. Both front and rear can take on our less than ideal EDSA and some other rough patches here and there. And on the highway, you're just soaring. The suspension overall will give you one of the best rides out there, while at the same time still retain your bond with the road. You won't feel detached like you're in a car or something, which is what some people think when you're on a bike this big. Now, one of the things that surprised me with this bike is its fuel consumption.
Okay na yan. Salamat.
I was expecting around 16 to 18 kpl, which is the norm with litter bikes. On a hot day with a mix of city riding and a dash across clear roads, I was able to get around 21.893 kpl. It's pretty impressive.
Ano yan? Colorum. Yan, kasi Colorum. Alam mo, wala na talagang pag-asa Metro Manila. This is, ay nako, ang solusyon talaga sa masamang traffic, motor. Pag motor na tayong lahat, bisikleta o kaya maglakad, yun na yun.
With a bike this big, you'll need stellar brakes to stop it. This is where the illusion of it being a midweight bike comes in. The brakes work so well, the bike feels lighter than it actually is. You will stop, and the ABS will get you out of danger should you find yourself clamping on the brakes fast.
We're going to be testing the brakes. Start with the rear first. Okay. Okay, rear brakes, it's gonna lock first and then the ABS is gonna kick in and start releasing it. So there's bite again. Okay, with this bike, it's gonna lock first, release it a bit. Let's try the front. Okay, even the front has that thing. Try it again. Okay, same thing. For the rear and the front, they're gonna lock a bit and then gonna release. The ABS is gonna kick in. Both this time. Again. Okay, the brakes are pretty good, but it has a tendency to lock first even with both brakes, and then the ABS is gonna kick in. Now I noticed this even with the other Hondas, they're kind of aggressive with their brakes. So tono wise, again, use both brakes, you're fine.
We're at a level here where Honda pulled no punches to execute this beauty properly within its class and concept. However, this bike is for those with some experience on them, and not just experience, I'm talking about riders with brains and discipline. I know some riders who've been at it for so long with so much experience, and I'm honestly wondering why they're still alive with the way they ride. This has no traction control, no anti-wheelies. It's a big bike. Now don't get me wrong, the EX is actually easy to ride, so easy that you might get a false sense of reality of the kind of machine you are on. Just gotta be careful. That's what I mean. You gotta understand it and respect it. The Honda CB1100 EX. It's a tank, it's retro looking, it's cool, with a design that has stood the test of time. What can I say? It's immortal. This is Zach from Makina Moto Features. Ciao.
Para sa nakaraan, kumawala at maglibot, pinayuhan mo ang nalilito. Nalilito pa rin ako, yakap lang ang katapat, halik mo ang sapat, hindi naman tayo ang gulo, ang gulo.